right now on an extended edition of Primetime.
Who is the former WWE and ECW star who is joining the PWR team for a special series of reports on the road to Lockdown and WrestleMania? Find out tonight.
What footage leaked from WWE this week that has caused outrage amongst CM Punk fans? We have the footage and the discussion tonight.
What does Stone Cold Steve Austin have to say about the current state of the WWE? You might be surprised at some of the criticism that he has for the company.
I have a very special interview with TNA star Ethan Carter III that you don't want to miss.
Find out all this and more, including the wildcard fantasy draft and this week's Smackdown ticket winners, right here, right now on Primetime TV for Saturday, February 15th, 2014.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. A huge episode here. Damian Nelson along with David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time knockout Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, straight edge, goat face,
leading
Viper.
super friend leading
Hero.
in the draft.
It is a big episode, as I said. We've got our wild card draft picks today, a big interview with Ethan Carter and more. But before we get to that, let's go to this week's top story, ladies and gentlemen, and pay close attention because it is a doozy, and I'm sure you will have some very pointed opinions on it. CM Punk. There's that name again. He's now on day 20 of his WWE walkout, yet he still remains in the minds of many fans and also in the news. Matter of fact, this past Monday night, things got a lot more interesting due to two things that happened during WWE Raw. The first, clearly not intended to be released, was a pre-show footage of the Los Angeles fans chanting CM Punk and the off-the-air reactions of Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL on commentary. Let's take a look at that clip right now, and more importantly, a listen to that clip right now. And when we come back, we'll discuss what happened.
Oh, there you go. That'll drown out soon. How about go away? Go away. Go away. Go away. It doesn't last long, does it?
No, it doesn't. There's not a lot of determination to that chant.
Well, there's the clip, folks. You see it in its entirety, in the flesh, if you will. The crowd chanting CM Punk, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL saying, well, that won't last long. And how about go away?
But who are they talking about? I mean, maybe there was that, some annoying person around them is telling him to
You
go
weren't
away.
there.
Oh, no, I'm not annoying. You know what? They need to relax. It's three guys, three pals, talking nonsense.
A lot of fans.
Trying to pop each. How many times do you and I say things off air that's just meant for you and I, to entertain ourselves?
You do a lot, but I always realize that this microphone is on, and it's always being recorded.
But that's fine. I'm not afraid of people hearing the things that I say, because what I say is the truth.
But does this, well, I've got another final word on this at the end of this segment, but the question I'll ask you right now, does this say anything about Punk's reputation in WWE by three of the people who are in the know saying these words about him?
Well, it's also three guys that have had a longer career, that have been on Raw longer than CM Punk has had a career almost, too, if you think about it. I mean, he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It's no secret. A lot of people are annoyed by his attitude.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease?
Or it gets replaced. Sometimes you just kick it off and get a new one.
That's why there's a spare in the trunk?
Always, or under the car.
Last week we talked about who that spare might be. I still think it should be Dolph Ziggler. You think it should be Cesaro.
It's now just Cesaro, by the way.
Why are you going to spoil the hot news coming up later? Don't you read your run sheet? There's more, though, to this story, folks. The next thing that happened was when another CM Punk
hot
chant
news
broke
is on
out.
page 2. I'm still on the first page here. How would I know that?
Another CM Punk chant broke out during a commercial break, and Seth Rollins grabs the microphone and said, and I quote, CM who? Followed by much more. Now, this was no mistake, as it aired on the WWE app for the world to see. So let's take a look at exactly what Seth Rollins said.
You are all about footage today, aren't you?
In this clip.
Footage.
From Raw. Seth Rollins.
Yes.
I mean, you just saw it right there. I mean, I would have thought, now we know Seth Rollins and CM Punk to a degree sort of came up together, and you would think that they are friends. How did we get to the point where he would get on the microphone and address that? Was there a purpose?
It's very simple. Let's just say somebody told him, hey, Seth Rollins, you're going to go out there and you're going to do this. But because they have to keep the heat on the Shield because they're kind of getting a babyface reaction.
But here's the thing, it worked. They stopped chanting Punk.
Yeah.
The time came back from commercial break, didn't hear it. And earlier we heard JBL, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, one of the three of them say, that'll drown out soon. And we talked about that last week. That seems to be WWE's method for dealing with these chants is keep talking, keep going, act like they're not there.
And do you know why they drown out? Because they're not there. So they're going to chant the entire time and have no payoff?
It's going to be a problem, though, come 2 weeks in Chicago. March 3rd.
You know what? It might be a problem a little bit, but you watch. Listen, the machine is brilliant, and they keep rolling all the time. They will give Chicago such a healthy dose of Daniel Bryan that they'll have no choice but to be chanting yes all night.
Money in the Bank. You were there.
Of course I was, but so was CM Punk. CM Punk won't be in Chicago.
And that is the problem. Because Chicago will expect him, they will want him, they will cheer for him, they will chant for him, they will be relentless on that Raw episode.
I disagree. I think, yes, it will happen, but it's not going to be for 3 hours. First of all, the people in Chicago can't go that long.
How dare you say something about the fans so close to our home market here in Milwaukee?
Have you listen, you know how I feel about Chicago. Traffic is a night. The only good thing about Chicago is Lisa's Restaurant.
Let's sum it up, folks, in this week's final word, my final word on this topic yet again. Well, these two clips...
Wait. Where's the elevator music in the background? No?
These two clips do seem to show one thing. CM Punk may not be as popular within his own company as he is with the fans. While not unusual for one of the quote-unquote boys to be disliked backstage, I think it's telling what his own peers have said about him. Some fans have said that Cole, Lawler, and JBL were quote-unquote disrespectful to Punk with their comments, but that was not the case at all. They were simply reacting to what was happening around them. There are questions about exactly who they wanted to go away, but I think it was pretty clear that they were referring to Punk. Regardless of all this, my comments from last week stands. I want to see Punk back on the wrestling scene, but after this week, I'm unsure if that means in the WWE. It's the final word on that, and that is this week's big story, folks. And it's time for a timeout. When we come back, it's time to dig into the draft a little bit. We'll be back in a moment.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
It's time to shake things up again. The PWR draft ends at WrestleMania, and the stakes are about to get much higher. As you know, each team was selected last April, and now it's time for the wild card picks. Over the course of tonight, each team will be able to replace up to 10 of their talents with new selections. Earlier today, both Damian and Dave locked in the 10 stars that they will keep on their teams, and now it's time to make the first selections.
Thank you, Linda, and I always love this time of year because it's time for me to once again just polish off my little trophy here and be prepared to win yet again the draft. I'm going to be a three-time draft winner, David Hero. And how does that make you? You might be in the lead now, but come Elimination Chamber, Lockdown, and WrestleMania, you're going to be back there in the dust again. I can only hope that it's somebody like Heath Slater, who again gives me the win in the draft at the last minute.
That hurts me.
Be that as it may, since I am currently a little bit deficient in points, I will go with the first pick.
Deficient.
And ladies and gentlemen, you see who I've kept? You saw who I kept just a little while ago. Well, I'm going to go ahead and add number 11. My first pickup in the wild card draft is none other than the man who will be in the main event at WrestleMania 30, Batista. Sure did.
You took the guy that I said I wanted.
Well, it doesn't matter. It was my pick.
But you don't like Batista. You call him Bootista all the time.
I've never referred to him as Bootista.
Oh, off air you have.
No, I never have.
Just our
no, I never have. Don't try to. Why don't you pick somebody? We got a limited time here.
Well, I'm going to take the main event of WrestleMania. I'm going to take The Undertaker.
Oh, that's going to get you about 13 points.
He's not going to lose.
You never know.
Hope he shows up.
All right, time for another pick. Another pick. Another pick.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Sheamus.
Nobody has Sheamus?
Nobody has Sheamus. No, this guy has Sheamus. I've got Sheamus.
That's a great pick for you.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I'm going to take the TNA World Impact Heavyweight Champion.
The TNA World Impact Heavyweight Champion.
Magnus.
I'm sorry. One more time.
Magnus.
Okay. A TNA guy.
Yeah. Oh. He's the world champ.
He is the world
expect him to
champion.
retain at lockdown. That's
Against
points.
Samoa Joe?
Absolutely.
We'll see. All right, well, the draft picks continue tonight, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, and there's still so much more.
Guys yet?
So much more to come here on this broadcast, which, of course, does again extend after we go off the air here on My24 Milwaukee on our YouTube channel and at PWRshow.com. Pro Wrestling Report, a special 1 hour long edition all the way through WrestleMania each and every week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on My24 Milwaukee and PWRshow.com.
Sounds like it's all you. I wouldn't say that. I mean, like any fine economy.
All right, so that was 2.5 minutes. Now we've got the video.
I got my text yesterday.
Yeah.
CM Punk's not come back. Good riddance. Thank God.
Hi, gang. Mean Gene Okerlund here. You are joining me in watching Pro Wrestling Report, hosted by my very dear, close, personal, longtime friend, Damian Nelson, and his sidekick, Dave Hero. Keep on watching, and we'll keep on cooking.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night here on My24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and it's time for this week's hot news, which, of course, are all the headlines you need in around 2 minutes or less. For those of you
it was 90 seconds.
who are keeping score at home. WWE announced this week that former WWE Diva and Women's Champion Lita is the next inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Lita joins the already announced Jake Roberts and The Ultimate Warrior in the ceremony set to happen in New Orleans as part of WrestleMania weekend. Speaking of the WWE Hall of Fame, it was revealed in an interview with Triple H at WWE.com earlier this week that the Hall of Fame ceremony will air in its entirety live on the WWE Network on April 5th. The network launches with a 1-week free trial on February 24th, which is the day after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view from Minneapolis. WWE has tweaked the names of 2 of its stars this past week. The company is now referring to Antonio Cesaro as simply Cesaro and Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston simply as Big E. It is unknown why the names were tweaked, but it will certainly lead to better marketing and merchandise opportunities with each star. Former WWE, WCW, and TNA star Jeff Jarrett has made his first video comment since his departure from TNA a while back. Jarrett gave some details on his upcoming wrestling project, saying that he has been scouting talent in the United States, Mexico, Japan, India, Australia, and Europe, and that he quote-unquote can't wait to make a formal announcement. Jarrett, of course, did release a video during the Super Bowl that simply said, "It's coming." No other details are available, but in case you don't remember, TNA was originally founded by Jeff Jarrett. PWR will keep you up to date on with developments on these stories as they become available at PWRshow.com. And that's it for this week's hot news.
Do you think Lita is Hall of Fame worthy?
You know, I thought about that, David Hero, and I'm not sure. I almost went back to whether or not Edge was.
Well, I think Edge was, but maybe not
if
so
Edge was,
quick.
Yes, exactly, not so quick. Lita, I think she's worthy, yes.
More so than Luna Vachon? More so than Ravishing Rick Rude, King Kong Bundy, Miss Elizabeth, Macho Man?
No. But it's a loaded Hall of Fame, and they need a girl.
They've only had 3. This is only the 3rd one.
Jake the Snake, Ultimate Warrior, and now Lita? That's a loaded Hall of Fame.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I think the best Hall of Fame was WrestleMania 21.
Let's go to this week's WWE Raw report, ladies and gentlemen, and let's talk about the matches in the main event. It was John Cena versus Randy Orton. John Cena gets the win as Randy Orton continues his matches with all participants in the Elimination Chamber matchup. This match went 21 minutes, David Hero. John Cena wins, and unfortunately, while the match was not at all bad, actually it was a good match.
It was probably the best match they've had in a long time.
Exactly. The fans could have cared less, and quite frankly, this fan could have cared less as well.
Do you know why you cared less? Because it was Cena and Orton again.
Again.
If you just get past the bias that you all have, okay, for John Cena, and realize what a good match it was, you would have appreciated the talents in that ring.
But you understand why that was not the
because
case.
everybody wants to see Daniel Bryan.
I don't even think this was a Daniel Bryan
You know what?
situation.
I don't even know if Daniel Bryan could have had that good of a match with either one of those two guys.
He has.
That match told a great story.
Does Randy Orton lose every match? He lost last night on SmackDown again.
If it's up to me, Randy Orton loses every match but wins at the Chamber. Because now what he's doing is he's making everybody in that Chamber match stronger.
Makes them look like actual viable
contenders. Yes.
Contenders. And everybody's beating them clean.
See? It's all right in front of us again.
Cameron teams up with the Bellas to take on your dear friend Alicia Fox and Oksana. About a 5-minute Divas matchup. And AJ Lee, yes. Yeah. The Divas champion.
You know what? Those 6 have had...
Who's her boyfriend?
AJ? I heard he quit. I forgot what his name was. It's been like about 20 days since he's been on TV. But those 6 have actually been pretty solid lately. Oksana's getting a lot better.
Yeah, she is. Absolutely, she is. Mark Henry gets a win over Dean Ambrose, but that match going about 8 minutes. But I think what's more important is how we got there. Earlier in the night, backstage, interview with Renee Young. Dean Ambrose is asked by Renee about the defense of his United States Championship, a point we've made on this broadcast before. And then his dear close personal friend, Roman Reigns, starts also challenging him about defending that championship. Ambrose saying he would issue an open challenge. And we were left out of that promo looking like Roman Reigns might be the guy who would be that open challenger. However, it would be Mark Henry who would win that match by disqualification.
And again, nobody complains about Mark Henry. I don't get it.
What do you mean complains about Mark Henry?
Mark Henry should have defeated Dean Ambrose. Should have beaten him.
And taken the title?
Absolutely.
Really? Why?
Yes, because,
a United States Championship for Mark Henry?
Because so many title matches are non-title matches or disqualifications, and the champions are losing. Let them lose then.
The Usos defeated the team of Ryback and Curtis Axel, and dang, the Usos look great this past Monday night, David Hero.
You know, 6-7 months ago, the Usos were kind of stuck in tag team purgatory, and they have definitely gotten in far better ring shape. And you know, you almost have to thank that Total Divas TV show. It has given them a little crossover appeal and made them bigger stars and an investment by the fan base. And they've been really, really solid.
Going forward, I think, including on last night's SmackDown, we're going to see that the Usos are definitely contenders for the Tag Team Championships. And back to, when you talk about the Tag Team Championships, is it not worth noting, and I think we've made this point here, that the Tag Team Champions of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, there's a lot of people that are going to benefit from that, from working with those two veterans in the ring, and the Usos might be one of those teams.
Well, and the New Age Outlaws, one of the best tag teams of the Attitude Era, if not the best tag team. I mean, you know, think about it. It was the Outlaws, it was the Hardys, it was Team 3D, it was Too Cool, it was Edge and Christian. Great tag teams then. And now if they're going to truly reinvent or reestablish the tag team division, what better tag team to have work with them than Road Dogg and Billy?
Who did Dolph Ziggler piss off? You notice his entrance this past Monday night? I'm here to say the word, blah, blah, blah. He gets down to the end of the ramp. It's like the record stopped, and then here comes ADR, and then he beats him in 1 minute and 34 seconds, did Alberto Del Rio with the swift kick to the head.
Wait. I mean, the guy that everyone says should take CM Punk's spot?
I said that, I still say that. I'll say that sitting here right now. Dolph Ziggler is championship material.
You know what? Then maybe what they're doing is they're laying the groundwork for that, for Dolph Ziggler to then get his own CM Punk type promo.
I don't know if that house is going to stand if this is the groundwork they're laying.
Of course. Certain guys can lose every week.
Does Alberto Del Rio need to be stronger going into what is probably a match with Batista at Elimination
Chamber? You know what?
Chamber?
I didn't like the fact that Batista comes out and kills Del Rio, and then they set up a match. I already saw the babyface get his heat back on Del Rio, so he's already better than him. Why do I want to see that match now?
We'll talk about more matches from WWE Raw as we go into overtime at PWRshow.com as the Pro Wrestling Report continues.
We're doing this hour thing again?
Here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. On Tuesday, February 25th, WWE returns for the first time in 2014 with a huge WWE Smackdown. See all your favorite superstars live, including John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, the Deranged Wyatt family, the Hounds of Justice, the Shield, and many more. WWE Smackdown live in Milwaukee, Tuesday, February 25th. Tickets are available. WWE, the best value in entertainment.
Congratulations to Amy Racer. You just scored 2 tickets to WWE Smackdown. Entries will be reset tomorrow morning at PWRshow.com, so be sure to head on over and enter to win from PWR and My24 Milwaukee. Ticket winners can pick up their tickets starting Monday at the My24 studios in Milwaukee.
Welcome back, folks, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. A loaded show this week. Ethan Carter coming up in just a few minutes, a special interview. And it's also the wild card draft. Only 3 events left in the draft. We have already made 2 selections. Now it's time for 2 more selections, David Hero. And the time is mine to pick my next selection here for the draft. And I've already picked up Batista. I've picked up Sheamus. Well, I'm also going to pick up, ladies and gentlemen, the next person on my list will be Goldust.
Oh, come on. You know, you're cheating off my list.
How's that?
Because I had Goldust next.
Well, you don't have Goldust now.
No, I don't.
And you're still next, so who's your pick?
Bobby Roode from TNA Impact
Pays to be rude?
It does pay to be rude.
Huh. I like that. I like that.
I like it a lot.
I like that.
A lot.
All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, is another pick here for the Nelson family, the winning team, as you know, and we're going to go with Samoa Joe. Sure did.
That baffles me. It really
Why does that?
I'm just surprised.
I think he might beat Magnus at Lockdown in the cage.
You do?
And take the championship, absolutely.
Huh.
Samoa Joe is fantastic this past Thursday at Impact. 30 seconds for your pick.
I'm going to go with... I need points. I need guys.
Yes, you need points.
I do. I need guys that can win matches on pay-per-views. Ken Anderson.
Not a bad pick. Lots of TNA action here.
Well, I'm going to be in Miami. I got to cheer for somebody.
That's more picks to come here in the draft, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, let's take it on over to Linda Kay with this week's Event Center. Linda, take it away.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. HBK is coming to Milwaukee. See the WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels at the World of Wheels in Milwaukee at State Fair Park next Saturday, February 22nd from noon to 3 p.m. Get details and more information now at Autorama.com. Ring of Honor Wrestling returns to Milwaukee on March 7th with a blockbuster show at Turner Hall. Tickets are available right now at tickets.com. GLCW is back with shenanigans at Turner Hall on Friday, March 21st, featuring Scott Hall. Get details and tickets now at blizzardbrawl.com. That's it for this week's Event Center, presented by Gruber Law Offices.
Thank you, Linda. And as we said, folks, it is WrestleMania season again, and that means it's time to welcome yet another special guest host who will guide us on the road to the most exciting time of the year for pro wrestling. PWR is pleased to welcome Al Snow to the broadcast team. Yes, indeed, Al Snow will be joining us starting next week for In Depth with Al Snow. It's going to be right here on PrimeTime each and every week, and he'll be with us all the way through WrestleMania.
How exciting is that?
30.
A voice of reason finally coming to help me out here on the show.
Well, if anybody picked up the Double D podcast this past Monday night, this past Monday, they heard Al Snow give a pretty passionate discussion on the state of professional wrestling, and that discussion continues on PrimeTime starting next week. So be sure to set your DVR and subscribe to us on YouTube. Be sure not to miss the ever so outspoken Al Snow as he joins the PWR broadcast team starting next week. And with that, folks, it's time to find out who this week's Diamond of the Ring is.
This week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring is my super friend who hails from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yes, Mr. Anderson. Anderson defeats Bully Ray in the casket match with the mic check into the casket, once again bringing balance to the force in TNA Impact Wrestling. This week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, the place where they pay cash for gold, is Ken Anderson.
And with that, folks, when we come back, a special interview with EC3, Ethan Carter III.
Don't miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor Wrestling invades Milwaukee at the Turner Hall Ballroom Saturday, March 7th with a 7:30 p.m. bell time. With appearances by Playboy cover girl and First Lady of ROH, Maria Kanellis.
You know you want to see me live and in person.
Mr. Wrestling himself, Kevin Steen.
I will package pile drive everybody.
And many more. Experience body slamming, suplex crushing, brain busting, pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Damian Nelson of the Pro Wrestling Report here at TNA Impact Wrestling, and with me is the latest prodigy, if you will, from TNA Impact Wrestling, Ethan Carter III. Ethan Carter, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, thanks for having me.
TNA Impact Wrestling, you are one of the focal points. Obviously, your aunt, Dixie Carter. TNA Wrestling, TNA Impact over the last few weeks especially, and since you've come on board, to be honest with you, has been absolutely fantastic. What is the atmosphere like in TNA, especially coming off the heels of the big tour over in the UK that you guys did a couple of weeks back? It's got to be very energizing.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself, since I've arrived, game's changed. I guess you can call me a game changer. Coming over back from Europe has been a lot of momentum, a lot of forward progress. The proverbial youth movement has arrived in TNA, and I don't mind to be the crusader, the leader, the general, the king of it. I'm very excited to keep moving forward.
Sounds like it's all you.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, like any fine economy, you know, you have a leader, someone who's making the decisions, making the crucial things, but you have, you know, assistants per se. You have people helping from underneath, building up from the ground. I mean, I have people doing the legwork too. I mean, the bromans are out there. They're hashtag killing it. You know, Zima, hashtag killing it. Granted, I'm not champion of Magnus's, but he's also hashtag killing it. So there's a lot of hashtag killing it going on. Hashtag killing it.
Pinot or Chardonnay?
Aqua, actually. I'm on the job, sir.
Oh, well, I heard earlier you said you like
just
wine.
kidding, a Chardonnay. Fine.
Who is on your list of opponents that you want to face in TNA Impact Wrestling of the current roster right now?
Oh man, well, I've beaten pretty much everyone I've faced, which has been great. There's these new characters who've shown their face, these little gruff lemmings, if you will. They're yeah, there's some sort of a tag team, proverbial greatest tag team around. I don't know. I don't really watch wrestling, but I guess they're good. The Wolves.
Yeah.
Davey Richards and Edward Edwards.
Edwards.
Okay, all right. I've watched wrestling. They're very good. They're excellent, really. But I mean, I have a problem with the amount of first names they have, really. 4 first names, that's excessive. In addition to the Wolves, I mean, Kurt Angle, it's top of my list. I mean, if I didn't already retire him after I destroyed his knee over in Glasgow, I mean, Jeff Hardy ever wanted to decide to show his stupid singing face again, I'd love to take him on. Magnus, so I could become champ. You know, the list is long, and the list is long.
Well, Ethan Carter, great things, of course, ahead for you in TNA Impact Wrestling. And I'm not just saying that because Dixie told me to.
No, I know you're not. I can see your eyes. I can see you looking into my eyes. And you know what I see? Belief. Belief in the future.
The future of TNA Impact Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. He just told us so.
Oh, beautiful brown eyes, by the way.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Ethan Carter, ladies and gentlemen, the third, here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Thank you so much, Ethan Carter, the third, here on PrimeTime. Big interview. Thank you very much to TNA Impact Wrestling for that.
Your eyes are really brown?
It's time to say goodbye to our viewers on My24 Milwaukee, but the second half of PrimeTime continues online right now. With our Impact and Smackdown reports, we go in-depth on what Stone Cold Steve Austin said was the state of WWE, DWHS, and more draft picks. All that right now at PWRshow.com and YouTube.com/MaxSports. So, David,
yes,
as we continue here in OT, overtime, if you will, and as you are getting spanked in the draft, and as Ethan Carter has come close to being endorsed. It's a great interview. I mean, that's what you're supposed to tell me. You do a good job.
You know what? It was very,
no, I didn't have any wine.
very, very solid. You did a great job.
I don't think you mean it.
I sincerely do, from the bottom of my heart.
Impact this past Thursday night, the Impact report for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go over the matches. It was Gunner versus Ethan Carter III, and a ladder match for the Feast or Fight briefcases, but it ended in a no contest after TNA champion Magnus interfered, which then brought out James Storm, and then MVP set up a tag team match later on for both title shot. So the singles title shot and then the tag team title shot as well, which led to that matchup. James Storm and Gunner defeating Magnus and Ethan Carter for the Feast or Fight briefcases that contained both those title shots. The finish had Storm and Gunner winning, Magnus and EC3 arguing. EC3 loses his TNA Tag Team Championship shot.
Terrible. Just terrible.
Really? It's a good match.
It was a very good match. And, you know, EC3 and Magnus are absolutely on a collision course.
It's a good course to be on.
It is, but it's also, let's not forget Bobby Roode. I think he's also going to be in there somehow as well. I think all those heels are going to eventually implode.
Really? All of them?
All of them.
Forever?
Hey, they're going for the biggest prize in all of TNA Impact Wrestling.
We saw the in-ring debut of the Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, who teamed with Samoa Joe to take on the TNA Tag Team Champions Robbie E. and Jesse Goddard, the Bromans, along with Zema Ion. Samoa Joe getting the win with the rear naked choke on, I believe, Zema Ion.
Yes.
Damn, did Samoa Joe look good in that match, David Hero?
They are building Samoa Joe strong for his big main event cage match with Magnus. They're doing exactly what needs to be done, is to make Joe look like a credible threat to the title.
And he does it with such ease. The way that he's portrayed and the way he just dominates whomever he's in the ring with, that is the Joe we love, that is the Joe we want, and that is the Joe we're going to get at Lockdown, as you just said.
Sounds like a head chant. Want, need, and...
That's next week.
That is next week.
Al Snow joins us. Abyss coming out without his mask. He called out Eric Young. He's not pleased over what happened last week.
He looked like Joseph Park.
He needs someone that understands him. I love the Abyss character, and I like the evolution of the Abyss character now. Not necessarily with the mask, but Abyss, he has that presence. He almost looked like a mass murderer last night. And I don't think we'd ever heard Abyss speak up until this point.
Well, not
Abyss.
So eloquently.
Abyss.
He has spoken.
Abyss?
Of course he has.
Abyss.
Yes. Pay attention to the product.
I pay attention to the product.
Abyss has talked.
Should he be masked or not?
Well, the genie's out of the bottle already. It doesn't make a difference anymore.
MVP also back or in the ring for the first time with TNA Impact Wrestling some 3 weeks after being revealed as the investor. Too soon in my opinion, but his opponent was Rockstar Spud, who also probably should never be in a wrestling match, not because he doesn't have amazing in-ring talent, but because of his role that he plays with the company.
He should never be touched.
His in-ring debut, MVP, with Rockstar Spud. Of course, a quick squash match. MVP winning. MVP looked dang good, David Hero. I don't think I realized how big a star MVP was in WWE.
Well, because he had a lot of other big stars around him.
Yeah.
And right now he brings that swagger and that bravado along with TNA Impact Wrestling. And, you know, it's a little bit different. Coming in a big fish into a smaller pond.
We talk about Rockstar Spud. As you know, I've endorsed him. I think he's a tremendous talent, fun to watch. And I loved what they did when he was putting the tape down in the locker room or in Dixie's office for MVP's side and then her side. And again, folks, it's all in the details. When he took the plants and we're moving them on either side of the tape. This is fantastic, which then led to, at the end of the broadcast, when Dixie and MVP were backstage, and she was so flustered, she just kept moving the plants around. Now, that segment, by the way, at the end of the show was too heavily edited. It didn't come off as good as it could have, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless.
But again, Rockstar Spud should not be touched.
Do tell.
He should just be that annoying little character
in yellow pants
that you just want to swat away, that fly that just buzzes around your head and you never get it. He should just be that annoying pest.
Should MVP have been in the ring so fast?
No, not at all. His first time in the ring should really be at Lockdown.
Is he wrestling in that matchup, the Lethal Lockdown match?
Yes, he
Dixie
is.
Isn't, though.
No, you can't put her in the match. There's no payoff there.
Chris Sabin had challenged Velvet Sky last week. That match didn't take place. Chris Sabin, I've been a fan of Chris Sabin for a very long time.
You never endorsed him.
He had no presence this past Thursday on Impact. I don't know if it was the hair, the beard, the lack of tan, or what.
He's in the ring with the lovely and talented Velvet Sky.
Well, Velvet with a couple of low blows on Chris Sabin.
On Valentine's Day Eve. How inappropriate.
Alpha Female, I think is her name.
Yes.
She came out and, got her hands on Velvet Sky, and then she carried Sabin out on her shoulders as he celebrated. Now, I like what's happening with this, but at the same time, I don't think Chris Sabin has that championship look anymore.
Is it safe to say that Chris Sabin and Velvet Sky are no longer a couple?
Well, I mean, he dumped her in a strip club, so... Dumped her.
So you got a chance now, is what we're saying.
The main event was Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray in a casket match. How about Bully, who picked up Anderson's phone and called his wife It said.
That's so wrong.
No, not yet. Which clearly the question was, is he dead?
Right.
No, not yet. Well done, though, by Bully Ray.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that Sean stayed on the phone that long.
It was a casket match, and Bully Ray, again, just brilliant a lot of the time. He's also endorsed, by the way, wearing that Liverpool FC shirt. Instant heat. Instant heat. But, wow, that mic check into the coffin. Dang!
Yes.
Wow!
Yes.
Well done. Just a great finish to that matchup. Anderson has been doing some of his best work lately, as of late. Bully Ray, still tremendous again.
He's fighting for his family right now.
And you felt it.
You do feel it. There's that now added heat, that want, need, and desire that Ken Anderson's fighting for.
Great match. Great main event. And by the way, again, I think I said it on Feedback Friday yesterday, I think TNA takes the win again for the week in television broadcasting for wrestling. Say what you want about it. You can agree or disagree, but I found it more entertaining.
They will disagree. They're going to call you an idiot.
I found it more entertaining than Raw. I found it more entertaining than Smackdown. And unfortunately, I didn't catch main event this week, but I think we can go ahead and give that a pass. The stars, the people who stood out: Anderson, Bully Ray, Samoa Joe, Rockstar Spud, and MVP as well. Now, here's a question, David Hero.
I'm listening.
Let's talk about Impact Wrestling.
Okay.
Your dear close personal friend, Jeremy Borash, was
yes,
on commentary
JB.
the last couple of weeks.
JB.
From over across the pond. Great crowd again, by the way. TNA really should consider.
You know, JB's going to be with us in New Orleans.
I am aware of that, yes.
How about that?
Yes.
You guys have some Jameson together.
But JB was on commentary. This week, Taz back on commentary. Apples to apples comparison, who's better?
I think JB.
Or who do you prefer?
I think JB tells a better story.
Absolutely.
Than Taz.
Absolutely. And here's the problem, and I think Taz is great at what he does. I think Tenay is great at what he does. But there's too much laughing and joking and insiding between the two of them. Like when Bully Ray had revealed that jersey he was wearing, it took a good 10 seconds for them to address it, and all the heat had already started. And they were talking and laughing about something else. JB was better at capturing that stuff much more swiftly than they are.
It's all about being swiftly.
I say it was tops for the week in professional wrestling. What did you think of Impact this past Thursday night?
I thought it was another solid offering, and it's amazing.
Is that just because Ethan Carter was on earlier? Now you're kissing his ass, saying it was a great show?
All.
That's what they're going to think.
They can think whatever they want. They don't know the truth. The truth is...
It's out there, you know.
What's out there?
The truth.
Oh, I thought...
And our truth wrestles for Raw.
Yes. It's amazing how different the product is when they have new, fresh faces in front of a crowd that actually bought a ticket to watch the show. It's a big difference.
I think it's more than that, David Hero. I think it's much more than that. I think it's the atmosphere in TNA Impact Wrestling right now. We were backstage at the show they did in DeKalb last weekend.
Yes.
And I told people who make decisions in the company that that was the, how do I phrase this? There was a different vibe. The talent were in the best moods and in such a great place compared to previous shows we'd been to where everyone took every chance to complain about what was going on with the company. There was none of that this time. Everyone was bought in. Everybody was solidly behind
It's a younger group of guys fighting for a spot that they have right now.
And that they can have. The spot they can get.
Yes. You got hungry, young athletes that know that they have an opportunity and there isn't a glass ceiling because there are 2 to 3 people that are gone that need to be replaced.
Yeah. Kudos to TNA. Great job, TNA, on Impact this past week. And I'm not saying Raw was bad, by the way, so let's clean that up right now. I'm just saying that I thought Impact was better.
Well, Raw's been on cruise control.
Yeah.
Because they can afford to be.
Yep. Because you're going to watch anyways. All right. Well, it's time now for yet 2 more draft picks, David Hero. But now, before we do that, let's go to the rosters as they stand right now and show the world what everyone has picked.
Please do that.
So there you have it. Those are the rosters as they stand. David Hero, your team looks like a losing team again. But it's time for me to pick again, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to add a new member to the Nelson family, and he is, well, the largest athlete in WWE right now, The Big Show. This guy.
The Great Khali is the largest guy in the company.
Okay, you picked Great Khali.
No, I did not
now
pick
it's time
the
for
Great
my
Khali.
pick again.
No, I did not. Stop. You're not going to do that to me again.
I didn't do it to you last time.
You've done
Mike
that
Wickett
before. Not going to have that happen. I'm going to pick up.
Now remember, you can't have Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, The Shield, Brock Lesnar, Antonio Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler,
I don't want any of your guys because they're not any good anyhow.
Goldust, Batista, Sheamus, Samoa Joe, or Big Show.
I'll take Goldust.
You can't. I have Goldust. I took him last time.
You did?
Goldust. Remember, I stole him from you.
Oh, see? You admitted it.
And folks, that's typical hero right there. Why do you think I just went over the list of people I had so you wouldn't pick one of them? And then just after I say his name, there you go, you pick it.
Goldust is I'll go with Christian.
What are you looking at?
I'll take Christian.
Christian.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't pick Khali, so I can cross that off.
Please do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another Nelson family draft pick. And, well, coming on board with the Nelson family and joining the team will be, let's see, I've already got all the winners and all the people who are going to do best. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to take Kane. Or do you have Kane?
I dropped Kane. You can have him.
I'm taking Kane. Done deal.
All right. I am going to pick up the tag team champions, the New Age Outlaws.
Oh, that's a good pick. Got some belts. Now, that's going to be minus 25 points when they lose very soon. But
yeah, they could. Hopefully, I hope they lose on TV.
You are just living in the now, not in the future.
I always live in the now.
Smackdown, folks. Let's talk about last night's broadcast on Sci-Fi. And it was The Shield opening up the show, taking on Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Christian. Dean Ambrose getting the win and the pin after Sheamus accidentally hits Christian with a brogue kick. So, at the same time that they're building this Randy Orton can't win or can't beat any of his opponents in the Elimination Chamber story, they're now creating some dissension amongst the people in the Chamber match.
And that's what they have to do. They do. They have to put a story into it. What is so funny?
You are so thoroughly confused right now.
I was looking to see if you had a guy I wanted on your team or not. I got to steal somebody here.
Smackdown.
Yes.
Shield.
Shield. Shield and the Wyatts.
Jesus. Jack Swagger defeated Rey Mysterio, Mark Henry, and Kofi Kingston in a four-way matchup to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, that currently held by Big E. Big E was on commentary for the matchup, and what a funny guy. I don't think people can realize, especially if you don't follow him on Twitter, how entertaining he is.
He's very educated, very witty. He has huge star potential. That's why he's on my team.
Yeah. I don't know how it happened, but Eva Marie gets a win over Alicia Fox.
You know what?
Some bowling shoes in that match.
Wow. You know what? God bless Alicia Fox.
And America.
Because she did the best job she could with Eva Marie.
You're only as good as the person in the ring with you, right?
Absolutely.
Bad News Barrett is not so pleased about Valentine's Day, which was yesterday. What did you do for Valentine's Day yesterday, David Hero? A number of things? A number of different things? Or just one thing?
You know what I did? I chaperoned senior intern Cal's Valentine's Day dance at his school. I'm the best freaking chaperone out there. You know that? What is so funny about that? He has some cute teachers.
Time in the teacher's lounge? Exactly. The Usos teamed with Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and they beat the New Age Outlaws, Ryback, and Curtis Axel. One of the Usos actually getting a pin on Road Dogg in that matchup. I think we're setting up the story for a potential tag team championship match down the road.
With the Usos and the Outlaws.
Absolutely.
You know what? And it's amazing because, you know, Rikishi, good friends.
He's the papa.
With Road Dogg and Billy, the father of the Usos. There's a whole Attitude Era, you know, passing of the torch vibe possibly going on there. Could be a great match.
Darren Young defeated Damian Sandow. You're welcome. After the match, though, Titus O'Neil comes out in a suit and attacks Darren Young. Darren Young gets the upper hand, rips the suit off of Titus O'Neil. How you liking this now?
I don't like it when they split tag teams up and have them fight.
Really?
I didn't like it.
Too formulaic?
I didn't like it when it was Marty versus Shawn. I didn't like it when it was
X versus Smash in the Rumble?
It was Martel versus Santana.
Well, we got arrogance out of that.
I've never been a big fan of that. It doesn't work. One always gets left behind.
The Miz gets a match after another tirade this past Monday night. This match with Fandango and Santino Marella and Emma causing a distraction and The Miz to win that matchup.
Who would have thought that The Miz, the former WWE champion,
and the man who headlined WrestleMania 27,
would need Santino
when I
Marella,
was the guy who said he would, and this was the guy who said there's no chance Miz is going to headline WrestleMania,
and Emma would help The Miz get a victory.
Some stories. Those are good.
Sure.
In the main event, Antonio Cesaro now known as Cesaro, defeated Randy Orton with the neutralizer. Cesaro's a beast, David Hero. And I said that last week. I'll say it again.
Who's the guy that said he should take CM Punk's spot? Right here. And he defeats the WWE World Champion clean.
As did everybody else in the Elimination Chamber match so far.
Okay, but look who they have. Look who it's been.
John Cena.
Former champion. Christian, former champion. Cesaro, he's on his way.
Future champion.
Yes.
Smackdown overall, great show from a viewership standpoint, by the way, for the last several weeks. What did you think of it?
I thought it was a very solid offering of SmackDown.
A solid offering.
A solid offering, yes.
I can go with that. I like that. I see what you did there. I enjoy that. Well, that is SmackDown for this week, ladies and gentlemen. It is now time to take a time out, actually.
I want some more draft picks.
Well, we're going to do that after the break, David Hero. As a matter of fact, immediately following the break, we're going to go to more draft picks in the National Event Center, DWHS, and also, what did Stone Cold Steve Austin have to say about the state of WWE? Some interesting comments from him on his podcast this week. We'll be back just after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime and Overtime here on PWRshow.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And, well, it's time for more draft picks, David Hero. So far, let's just go ahead and reset, if you will, the draft. And thus far, in the supplemental or in the wild card draft here, I have picked up Goldust, Batista, Sheamus, Samoa Joe, Big Show, and Kane. Oh, sort of rhymes there.
Yes.
Along with your picks so far on the Super Friends, the Mighty Mouse team, The Undertaker, One Trick Pony, Magnus, Bobby Roode,
I just
Ken
need
Anderson,
one match out of him.
Christian, and the New Age Outlaws. Those your selections.
Yes.
Thus far. So it's time now for another pick, ladies and gentlemen, and that pick goes to this guy.
Why do you always jump over me? Why can't I pick first?
You picked last, didn't you? You picked the last time.
But we should be snaking.
No, we
this
should not be
thing.
snaking. It's going in order from beginning to end. I started, and then you went.
Cheater,
I started,
pumpkin
and then you went. And ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to welcome to Team Nelson family, joining the most elite group of professional wrestlers. You got some
that loud?
breathing problem?
Oops.
Joining the Nelson family, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than. See, I'm building suspense here. Who's it going to be, David Hero?
We only have so much time.
Who will it be? Who will it be? I'm going with Santino Marella. Sure did.
Good. You know why? Because I'm going to take Titus O'Neil.
Really?
Yes.
All right. No, I have the primetime players. I had the primetime players.
Yeah, you dropped them. Damn it. Boy.
Well, what do you mean by boy?
I want to make sure you understood.
Understood what?
What I'm saying.
The words that are coming out of your mouth?
Yes. Playa.
All right, folks, time for another pick. My pick. And, wow, things are getting slim here, David. But I'm going to scoop up one Ethan Carter.
Ooh,
III,
EC.
who appeared on this broadcast just a few
Oh, it's
minutes
because
back.
he said you had beautiful brown eyes, didn't
I haven't had anyone tell me that recently. It did touch me in a...
That's how rumors start. How did it touch you? Really? I'm curious to know now.
Who the hell are you picking next?
The Usos.
You have the Usos already.
I didn't drop them?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't. Let's look at the list.
Pull up this.
How are you so ill-prepared for this draft?
Someone took my notes.
No one took your notes. You didn't make any notes. That's what happened.
No, I don't have them. I'm taking the Usos.
Okay, fine. You're keeping the Usos.
Well, I dropped them. I picked them up again. Whoops.
Let's go back, ladies and gentlemen.
That's my next hashtag. Whoops.
Let's go back, ladies and gentlemen, and now finish talking about WWE Raw. An active Raw this past Monday night, and we talked about the Open Challenge. We did not talk about, or we did talk about the matchup between the Usos and Ryback and Curtis Axel as well. And as we saw in SmackDown Tag Team Gold, may be in their future as they, well, had a good showing against the Outlaws on Friday. So continuing talking about Raw there, some great matches, David Hero, and really a lot of wrestling, including the Real Americans going up against the team of Sheamus and I think it was Christian, right? Yes. Absolutely. They get the win in that matchup. 15 minutes almost.
I don't like that Sheamus and Christian got the win. I would have rather have seen
led to what happened
the
on
Real
SmackDown,
Americans get the win. So then it just has a little more heat with two babyfaces going into the chamber.
Did I hear correctly? It wasn't a CM Punk chant, but it was a Antonio Cesaro chant this past Monday night on Raw in Los Angeles, California.
What were they chanting?
Antonio Cesaro.
His first time, I watched it on mute because I do my own commentary when I watch.
To yourself?
I do. It's far more interesting to hear my own words.
Fandango got a win over Santino Marella in about 2 minutes. Emma, of course, playing a role in that matchup again. You don't like her at all, do you?
Not yet. I don't get it. It's like having Elaine Bennis out there. You know what? By her being so kabuki-ish, it's not cute. Is it?
So on this Valentine's Day weekend, because since the flowers couldn't get delivered yesterday, now they're calling it Valentine's Day weekend. You don't like Emma?
I didn't say I didn't like her. I don't get it. I haven't bought into it yet.
From Emma.
That's fine. She's blonde.
The Brotherhood, Cody Rhodes and Goldust teamed with Rey Mysterio in a matchup. 10 minutes or so that went, and here's what I took from that match.
Well, please tell me.
The endorsed Cody Rhodes is now a high flyer.
Well, yeah, because
I love it.
Well, you know, you'd think he'd stay a little more grounded after that moonsault off the cage.
What do you mean after that moonsault off the cage? The glamorous moonsault off the cage, one of the most spectacular moves.
It was a beautiful move, but it didn't work well.
So why are you knocking it? What do you mean it didn't work well? So what, they didn't win the match? We're still talking about the move, aren't we?
Yeah, because I felt bad for him. It hurt. Have you ever done a moonsault off the top of a cage before?
I'm just like Betty White was this past Monday night here on this set today. I'm here to kick some ass, David Hero.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Now, take another draft pick.
People cringed last week when we said Betty White was hosting Raw. Was it not phenomenal?
It was great. I thought her interaction with Road Dogg and Billy was entertaining.
I think she was in a total of 4 segments over 3 hours.
Well, because she can't memorize all of her lines.
You stop that. You absolutely are making an assumption based on her age, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
She is old.
She is old, but
I'm not assuming she's old. She is.
Your assumption was that she could not remember her lines because you can't remember your lines. Is it because you're old?
No, I just have a terrible memory.
Maybe she does too. The last standing Golden Girl.
She's the last one?
She's the last one standing.
So she's more platinum than golden.
Raw this past Monday night, David Hero. Overall, your thoughts? Not that I care.
Solid offering. Listen, they need to pick it up this week. They really do. Going into Elimination Chamber, they need something hot, new, and exciting.
Let's go to Linda Kay, ladies and gentlemen, with this week's National Event Center. Linda, take it away.
Welcome to the PWR National Event Center, featuring all the major events coming to your town. WWE will be appearing in Las Vegas, Nevada on Sunday. WWE then rolls into the Pepsi Center in Denver for Raw, and then on to Colorado Springs for a Smackdown on Tuesday. TNA Impact Wrestling will be in Huntington, West Virginia next Friday night, and Beckley, West Virginia on Saturday as part of the Road to Lockdown tour. PWR comes to New Orleans as part of WrestleMania weekend with 4 huge events. It all starts Friday night with the Mania dinner party to kick off WrestleCon. You can join Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Mr. Anderson, Hurricane Helms, Al Snow, and Demolition for a private gourmet dinner, followed by a private meet and greet. Tickets for this special event are very limited and includes all 3 of your events that night, so get yours now. After the Friday night dinner party, we kick off SWO, the Shenanigans World Order. This special event will feature Kevin Nash and Scott Hall for a no-holds-barred question and answer session. Following that, it's the 3rd annual Shenanigans After Party featuring Kevin Nash and several other wrestling stars. This is the party event of the weekend, and you do not want to miss it. Tickets to all of these events are available right now at pwrshow.com. You can have your wrestling event featured here in the event center too. Simply head on over to to PWRshow.com and click on the Advertise with Us page for more details. And that's it for this week's PWR National Event Center.
Tuesday afternoon, a video link leaked onto the internet of a conversation between Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL. In the background noise, you could hear the fans chanting CM Punk. The announcers acknowledged the chant and how short-lived it was, and made other comments such as, "Go away." Not once did any three of them say anything disrespectful about Punk, but the IWC took it a different way. When CM Punk dropped his world-famous pipe bomb, the wrestling world rejoiced because it was what they wanted to hear. But now when bits and pieces of a production reel leak online with no definite direction, it's considered a burial piece on their savior. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
You're beating a dead horse.
No, I'm not.
You just keep taking this chance after
Whoa, wait a minute. What was the start of the show?
It was
CM Punk.
It was the big story, yeah. Oh, I thought we left that back there. I mean, I gave the final word and everything.
But it's my DWHS. It's the spoken word. It's the gospel of the show.
Segment, and it's time to go in depth, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, next week, starting next week here on this broadcast, In Depth has got a new title. It's In Depth with Al Snow.
It's a foot of snow.
And this week in depth, we're going to talk about the Steve Austin show. In the latest edition of the Steve Austin Unleashed podcast, Austin shared his experience from his time backstage this past Monday at WWE Raw in Los Angeles. Listen closely, David. Austin spoke of his encounters with talents and also took the opportunity to give what he called a state of WWE. And there were definitely some interesting observations shared. Let's get to those. Austin said he could feel that a lot of the talents are walking around on eggshells because WWE is the only game in town. To quote Austin directly, he said, "There's a pretty thin roster of talent in the locker room. There's a lot of guys and gals, but when you're talking about the cream of the crop, you're talking about the best. The doors are wide open. Now, it's true that the powers that be do not believe in certain people, and it's up to the talent to make management believe in them."
Well, haven't we been saying that forever? Finally, someone else is qualifying our comments. It is thin. After Cena...
Well, as evident by our draft picks tonight, there isn't much to pick from.
No, there isn't.
It's hard to find 20 good guys.
Which is really 40.
In the business.
Because we both have to, we both need 20.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Austin also discussed recent booking decisions, such as having Rey Mysterio, who of course is a good guy, at the final spot, the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble, when the crowd in Pittsburgh, of which we were in attendance, just wanted to see Daniel Bryan. He said, and I quote, "I still don't understand that booking decision." He went on to say that using a heel to get more heat, such as a Wade Barrett, would have been, and I quote, "common sense booking."
Yeah, Ray got screwed. He really did.
He may as well not even been in the
He
Rumble.
would have gotten a better response from Border Patrol than he did.
Zeb Coulter, get out of here. How dare you?
What?
You are making those signs, aren't you? What do you mean he would have gotten a better response from Border Control? What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying. You know, he would have been...
He's an American citizen, I would assume.
You don't know that. We've never seen his face.
I don't know that you are.
I've never seen his ID. He always has a mask on.
You want to see his birth certificate?
No. I just want to see one birth certificate. That's all I need to see.
And Donald Trump showed you his.
Yes. Well, Trump was born here.
Steve Austin also said, and I quote, "An interesting atmosphere backstage. High degree of professionalism, but afraid to speak up and piss someone off. Hopefully these cats will start taking chances, or taking chances within reason." Great listen. Over an hour he went on and talked and did podcasts with, I think, Big Show, I think John Cena, as well as Zeb Coulter, and those will be coming in subsequent weeks on the Steve Austin podcast. But Steve Austin, a man who was on top in WWE, one of the highest earners in professional wrestling history, having these comments, talent should step up. There's a lot of people walking on eggshells, and the atmosphere is very professional, yet people are afraid to speak up. What exactly is he saying?
He's saying that the talent is not confident enough in their own talents to take that chance on themselves.
Really?
Yes.
Is it easier for people in any business, in any situation, to be martyrs for themselves? To complain to people who can do nothing about it, about how they're being mistreated, misused, or abused, yet not say anything to the people who can do something about it?
That's why they have Facebook and Twitter, for those reasons right there. Everyone's a victim.
Everyone?
Well, not
I don't
us.
consider myself a victim.
I don't either. I am a martyr, though.
You're cynical, that's for sure.
Cynical?
Cynical.
What does age have to do with all this now?
And Betty White has a problem. Yeah.
I'm glad you finally came around on that one.
You can listen to Steve Austin's podcast by subscribing on iTunes. And don't forget the Double D podcast featuring David and myself, also available on iTunes as well. I want to thank Al Snow for joining us this past Monday night. And also want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. Now, if you're counting at home, you know we have 3 more picks to make in the draft. Well, if you follow PWR Show on Twitter, we'll be making those picks immediately following this broadcast here tonight on Twitter, at PWR Show on Twitter. And remember, share your thoughts with us. You might be able to be featured on Feedback Friday and use the hashtag PWRTV. Again, the hashtag PWRTV. David Hero is going to go find out who is going to be Willow in TNA coming soon, and I'm going to get ready for next week's show. So for that one, this is Davey Adelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week right here on Prime Time with Al Snow.